This is your Monex Metals Market Update with Mike Maroney.
It's Monday, November 27th. My name is Mike Maroney, and I am coming to you today from the Monex Precious Metals Studio. Let's do our week in preview. We've had a lot of sideways chop in the market over the last few weeks as both gold and silver have been trading in a very tight range. Now, there's a saying in the commodity markets that states, the longer you base, the higher you race. And hopefully what we're seeing right now is a classic basing period in both of our key precious metals, gold and silver. And if we can just take out those upward resistance levels, who knows how high the market could go. If you think about what's happened over the last few years, typically 2015 and 2016, both gold and silver bottomed in December and then had nice major moves in the first 3 to 6 months of both of those years. Will we see a similar event this year? And if we do, how low could the market go? Okay, let's talk a little bit about what caused the market to pop up last week and what caused the market to stabilize and basically settle where it settled at today. Last week, the dollar fell precipitously as the Fed insinuated that we weren't seeing the type of inflation that the Fed is targeting. Obviously, in this situation, the thought pattern was that maybe the Fed wasn't going to raise rates in December. But when you look at the futures markets, you'll find that the probability of a Fed rate hike is still at over 99%. Obviously, those odds are pretty good that we're going to see a rate hike. And if that rate hike comes, will we see the dollar take back everything that it gave back last week? A lot of this may be cleared up tomorrow as the new head of the Fed, Mr. Powell, will actually speak in front of the banking committee, as he still has to go through the Senate to actually get the job because his appointment has to be actually validated. So we have the Fed governor, who is soon to be the head of the Fed, speaking tomorrow. Will he give us some signals as far as what the Federal Reserve will do in the future? And will we hear something that will change the probability that a December rate hike is inevitable? If that happens, watch out. If we take out 1717 in silver and 1303 in gold, both of these commodities could get a nice little bump back to the upside. Now, what we're also looking at is a stock market that's a bit overvalued as far as historic precedent is concerned. I looked at some statistical information today, and I was looking at tangible book value. And if you go back to 1999-2000, right before the tech wreck, the highest tangible book value multiple was in place, and it was at 8.7. The current tangible book value multiple in the stock market is currently at 9.4, the highest level in history. Are we reaching an overvalued scenario in stocks? And if the stock market sells off, will we see classic rotation into the undervalued asset class? And I think one of those undervalued asset classes just so happens to be precious metals, poised in this nice sideways channel and hopefully getting ready to break out. There's a lot of geopolitical uncertainty in the world. The government over in Germany is having a hard time putting Mrs. Merkel back in power, as she hasn't been able to get the number of votes necessary in order to create a government. So there's some volatility there. We have an election in Italy coming up. We have a lot of volatility over in Europe. There's massive amount of counterparty risk with all of the central bank buying of government bonds in those countries. We have the situation here in the United States where there's a lot of volatility. We have the potential tax break sitting out on the horizon. We have infrastructure spending that potentially is also going to be put on the table. All of this is inevitably inflationary. Will we see that inflation genie pop out of the bottle? And will you be ready to hedge or at least have financial positions to take advantage of this? And quite frankly, one of the ways you might get ready to protect yourself in this scenario is to own gold. What you should do is give us a call here at Monex so we could talk about how you could put gold in your portfolio. You could buy it, take delivery of it, hold it in your hand, feel comfortable, sleep better at night, or you could potentially set up a storage or trading account. But now may be one of the greatest times in history to own gold, because 2018 is looking like it's going to be an extraordinarily volatile year, as the world's population could start to question the fiscal responsibilities of government. And when that starts to happen, the canary in the coal mine is usually gold. And if gold starts to run, silver won't be far behind. Give us a call today. Thank you.